I want the sun to shine. What happened yesterday? Yeah, it wouldn't be bad for a little while. Not too much, you know. No, I'm not that crazy, but almost.
But films like this do offer something more about the ambiguity of people caught in that situation, you know, real people. So it's less black and white than it used to be, perhaps films made closer to the time.
I mean, I do think people expect more, and I do, like I was saying before, I think in this genre, people are led to think, okay, for example, the concentration camp. You know, I've had a couple people say to me, you know, I don't know if you guys ran out of money, or, you know, it didn't seem like a concentration camp, and I can tell you that the art department on this movie was amazing. Every detail of that camp, like every detail of everything, every other location, every other set, was accurate and perfectly done, from the clothes that people wearing, the prisoners' uniforms, the barracks. I mean, it's modified slightly, but it's the same set that was used for the boy in the striped pajamas. And people had no complaints about that camp, you know, that I know of. What it is that people are expecting, okay, a concentration camp, it's snowing, it's raining, there's blood in the streets, there's machine gun fire, there's screaming and yelling, and what's disturbing about it, and this is the subtlety of the movie, and I think the value of it, is that camp is disturbingly normal. You know, in other words, I think that terrible things happen in life to individuals, to groups of people, to nations. Not all of us happen, usually. You know, it's not some shocking event that leads an entire nation down the wrong road. It's not like, I don't know, the thing that happened on the airport yesterday. The guy bashed his head in and all that, that's shocking. But that's unusual, fortunately. I mean, it doesn't happen every 5 minutes. It doesn't happen all day long. I don't know if that's a good example to bring into it. But in any case, what bothered me in doing that long take, and I heard and saw basically what you see, is how normal it all seemed. How gradual and how mundane evil events, evil behavior is, you know, that's what's really disturbing about it, and so people aren't used to it. They've been fed something else. What they're saying it's not real compared to isn't real life or history. It's movies. You know?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Viggo. I got a question about your horses. I know you had Kenny and Uraeus in New Zealand for a long time, waiting for you to take them back to US or whatever. And I was wondering, are they still there, or did you take them home? Or?
Yeah, I just spent all last week with them. They're still there. Uraeus had a very, he's quite, for a horse, he's quite old. And he also had a really serious operation 2 years ago, which he almost died from. He was in the operating theater for a little over 4 hours, and his whole stomach opened up. And the doctor himself several times during the operation said, I don't think he's going to make it. And then once he finished, he said, I doubt he'll be able to, you know, survive it. He's fine. He threw me off the day before yesterday. And Kenny's up there too, but they're also together. They used to not get along, now they get along really well. So I don't know. I've kind of decided that they're happy there and they're happy there together. I'm not going to travel Uraeus no matter what. So I'll just go as often as I can.
Okay, and my mom's making me do this, but I've got some photos for you from Kenny and Uraeus when we went to go visit them. Do you mind?
No. Maybe we can trade. I'm going to take full advantage. Every step of the way. Life is short.
Okay, we're running short of time.
Someone has to kiss him. Come on.
Quick question.
Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. My mom is making me do this as well.
Where are all these moms?
Jeg har dansk marcipan til dig. Jeg håber, du kan snakke dansk, fordi jeg er ellers så omvendt i det, hvad jeg snakker om. Men ja, vil du gerne have det?
Ja, jeg kan godt forstå dig.
Ja.
Blev du født i Danmark, eller?
Nej, jeg har aldrig boet i Danmark, men mine forældre er fra Danmark, og jeg snakker flydende dansk. Så.
Ja, det gør det.
Ja.
Nå, tak og velkommen. That was Danish. Her parents are from Denmark. She speaks fluent Danish. And she has Danish marzipan chocolate. Thank you very much. It's very tasty.
Very nice.
I'm coming back to Australia as soon as possible. I don't care what they say in New Zealand. Thank you.
I saw Appaloosa, which I loved, and I wanted to ask you a question about the Western as a genre. What do you think is its appeal for actors to make Westerns, and what do you think is its appeal for audiences?
There's been some dry period that's been a tough sell for audiences. I don't know if that's because they don't make them or because people don't go to them so much. I know that they're historically, as a genre, maybe the best or close to it as far as DVDs and rentals. They have a long shelf life. People like to see them again and again. For actors, I think it's their rarity these days. I mean, I know that from about 1915 or so until 1960, about 20%, sometimes more, of all movies worldwide that were made each year were Westerns. You know, there were periods where it was higher than that, but that's a pretty high percentage, you know. 1/5 of all movies in the world, no matter where they're from, are Westerns. That dwindled throughout the 60s, but they keep being made. I think the appeal in general, I can speak for myself, what I like about them, yes, I like horses, obviously, and I like to ride, but it's the historical period. I mean, people call Westerns, you know, things that in my mind aren't. I think, strictly speaking, even though there have been great so-called Australian Westerns, New Zealand Westerns, French Westerns, you know, whatever. And yes, there are lots of cowboys in this part of the world as well. Strictly speaking, for me, a Western is made between, it occurs between around 1860 and, 1890, 1890, around then, in Western North America, or Northern Mexico. That's a Western. But the appeal is universal, I think, and I certainly like them because what the end of the West, the North American West, represents is the end of not only land, of geography, of physical boundaries, you know, arriving to the Pacific Ocean, okay, the West is closed, frontier is closed, but it's also, as you see in that movie, it's the end of a certain limitless kind of behavior, lawlessness. It's they are always, in some sense, coming-of-age movies for society. You know, in the case of that story, you have two characters played by Ed Harris and myself who are used to doing things in a certain way. You know, keeping the peace in a certain way. Unorthodox methods. They're not that different from the criminals in the way they behave sometimes. And as society, towards the end of the movie, you know, when civilization is really taking root in that town and in that region,